All right, you guys know that I'm a big Latin American DXer, at least if you join our live streams on Friday nights, or if you've been conversing with me for any amount of time. At some point, when we're talking about DX, I'm going to start talking about Latin American DX because, as the kids say, it's my jam, okay? And there's quite a few countries that I've heard in Latin America, but there's quite a few I have not. And so one of the things that I try to do when I get down to the nitty gritty is I try to say, okay, what are the stations that I want to try to shoot for and listen for in those countries that I haven't heard yet? And one way I can do that is creating a target list. Well, there's an easy way to do that using data from an already available source called medium wave list that will allow me to take that data, put it into a spreadsheet, and then I can make the target list of my dreams. Here's how to do it. This is using data from Medium Wave List, which is a fantastic website to use anyway for especially international DX. I do a lot of Latin American stuff, and so this is a website I use constantly for me to get information about those stations in Latin America that I'm targeting or hearing. There's a lot of stuff that you can do with Medium Wave List. It's super powerful, but for this purpose, we're going to really just focus on how to create these target lists and get the data from them kind of easily exported out. So you'll have to have an account set up to do that. Make sure you go to mwlist.org, and if you haven't yet created an account, up here in the right-hand corner, you'll see a little area with a pull-down menu to choose your language of preference. Mine is English. It'll redo everything in that format of that language, and then you'll see an area that says like first time here, register now. That's what you're looking for, is right here, register now. Once you've done that, you'll want to go ahead and create your account, log in, and once you've created the account and logged in, then you'll see a screen that looks like this, and this is where we're going to start from. So we assume at this point that if you're proceeding on here, you have an account with Medium Wave List, okay? So normally we go into like My AM or Logbook or one of those areas, but for our purposes today, go to Downloads. And that's going to bring up a screen that looks like this. Now, it's going to have all these different countries and checkboxes next to them. So there's two ways you can populate your list of countries you want to download data about. You can choose a geographic area. If you just want to get everything for that area, for the most part, you can click on, let's say, America, and it's going to give you every country that is within North and South America, Central America, Caribbean, all that kind of stuff. And then you can go from there. If you want to just download that entire PDF bundle, you can do that. Probably not a bad idea, though, to kind of whittle it down to just like the ones like I know, for instance, that Belize doesn't have any AM stations. I can get rid of Belize. I can also get rid of Easter Island. There's not anything really there that I'm looking for. Things like that. So you can take out the countries that you either don't want. Like I don't need Cuba. I already have quite a bit of Cuba here. I don't need Colombia for the same reason. Things like that. I don't want the United States. Make sure we take out United States of America because that would be a huge file. It can take a long time to do that. So I would take out the countries that I don't really have any interest in having a list made for, if you want to do it that way. The other way you can do this as well, I'm going to click on Downloads here to refresh it with a fresh screen, is just to choose the ones that you want. Okay, so let's just say, for instance, I'm looking for something like I want Guatemala because I only have one station down there. I'm really looking for Costa Rica because I don't have them yet. I want Brazil. I'll get Brazil. I also want Bolivia. Let's get Chile in here. Where did Chile go? I think it's up here. There's Chile. We'll do Paraguay. We'll do Uruguay. I think that's going to be most of what I'm looking for here. Yeah, those are most of the countries I'll be looking for here. There's a couple others in the Caribbean, but for our purposes here today, that'll be like my group of countries that I want data on, okay? So I choose my countries, go down to the bottom, and go to Format, and make sure it says PDF, okay? Then start download. Now, it's going to give you two warning messages when you've clicked on download. The first one is going to basically remind you that Medium Wave List is a non-commercial product. And so you shouldn't be using this for like a commercial entity for like a logbook you're going to sell, things like that. You shouldn't be using this data that you're going to then turn into some sort of commercial product. You don't have permission to do that. So this is really for just hobby purposes only. So that's what we're doing. We're just getting a target list of stations we want to target for DX. The other reminder here is also that, hey, depending on how many of those files you chose or how big they are, that might take a little bit of time to produce, especially if you have a slower internet connection. Here we're okay. We've got a pretty big connection. So 7 different files it's going to create here for us, and it's already done. Now it's going to put those into a zip file, a compressed zip file. And then when you click on that, we opened up the file here that was just downloaded. You'll see here's all of my different ones. It's going to give you the files with the name as the country code that's in medium wave list. So B is Brazil, BOL for Bolivia, CHL for Chile, and so forth. So now I want to go ahead and put these in. I've got a file that I've got set up here on my side, a folder here called Target Research. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hit extract. Now some of these I've already got older versions of, so we're going to replace those with the new versions. And then once we've done that, it's going to give me a new window here to show all those are now downloaded. So now you've got your full station list. Now this is going to give you everything that's there in medium wave list, even the stuff that's not AM. So like you'll see up here at the top, you'll see some long wave non-directional beacons. You'll see down at the bottom down here, you'll see some short wave as well. So there's lots of stuff on here in addition to the AM. But I'm going to focus really on the AM side. Then I'm going to go through here and I'm going to look at the data that I have available and try to find which stations I would like to target, which ones I think I've got a shot at from here in Louisiana. So for instance, you'll see the frequency over here on the left-hand side. There's your country code. You want to make sure you have that in here, your location, your city, your slogan or the station name. The power, if it's known what power they're using, their lat long of the station, and then if they have things like maybe the call sign of the station, the call letters that are used, or any, like they used to be called this, or any other little notes that might be in the medium wave database on that station, you'll see that listed here as well. So I'm just going to go through and I'm going to just arbitrarily pick a number here for myself. I would think anything 10 kilowatts or more, I've got a shot at hearing. So I just have to make sure it fits on the frequency that I've got an opening on. So for instance, here's a 10 kilowatter on 580. I think that's a possibility. I could probably make that work. So I'm going to go ahead and just highlight that entire row and I'm going to copy that. Then I'm going to come over here to Google Sheets or Excel or whatever spreadsheet program you're using, and I'm going to paste that information in. Okay. Now, it's going to paste it all into one column. Don't worry, we're going to come back to that here in a minute. But I'm going to go ahead and at least start off here by pasting in all the different stations that I think are doable from here in Louisiana. This one here on 600 is also 10 kilowatts. That might be a little tough. I have a local here. I've got Cuba. I've got Nicaragua on that frequency. That one might be a little tougher. Here's a 10 kilowatt on 620. That's a possibility. There is a strong Cuban there. Same thing with 640. They got a 15 kilowatt. That one might be a little more doable, but it's a little higher power. I'm going to go ahead and put that on my list. I'm going to go to my next row here. Let's find any others. Here's a 50 kilowatt. Let's hope it's not on a local. It's on 760. Yeah, 760. So that's a good frequency here. We do have some Mexican stations there and a couple others. Colombia's there, but that's a possibility if the conditions are right. So I'm going to just keep building my list of all the stations that I think are possible to hear from here in Mandeville. And there's really not a ton on AM from Bolivia. Or is there? Not a lot at all, actually. So I'm going to go back up and pick a couple more of these here. There's a 10 kilowatt. Where's that one at? 860. It'll be tough because of the splatter from WWL, but we can at least give it a shot. All right. So I'm just going to use that as my last row here. Okay. So now let's just assume here that we've been grabbing all these stations and highlighting and copying and pasting it into our spreadsheet here. We've got all our list put together. Now what do we do? How do I get this separated out so it's something that I can use and have it kind of put all the different pieces of data in a different column and so forth? So I'm going to show you how to do that process. The first thing I want to do here is kind of create a separator that's easy for me to use. I like this little up vertical line here. I like that. You can use whatever you want, but in between the pieces of data here, so in this case, I'm going to do it here next to the country, and then here is the city, so we'll put one here. That's the name of the station. I'll put one here. That's the power. I'll put one here, and so forth. So basically, in between all those little areas, I can do that. Now, you don't have to do this part of the step. I just think it makes it a little easier to work with. It makes it easier for you to kind of sort, filter, and do what you need to do with the data. So you can see once you've kind of started off the process, it's really not that bad. Come in here, do this. And then there's that. So if you have a large list, it might take a little bit of time, but it shouldn't be that bad in most cases. And then here, and then finally, one more here, and then one more here. Okay. So now I've done all the rows that I have on my spreadsheet. I've put in some sort of separator that we're going to use here for our next step. Okay. So then I'm going to highlight that entire column where all my data lives. And we're going to go to, by just clicking the A up here at the top, that highlights the entire column. Then I'm going to go to data and go to split text to columns. Now it's going to automatically try to assume here what I would want to use, but I'm going to come over here. There's a little pop-up that pops down here. It might show up over here. Then you click on the little pull down, and then I go to custom. I'm just going to put in that little separator that I made. Okay. And now it's put all those pieces, once it saw that little vertical line that I put in, every time it saw that, it created a new column and put the data after that in the next column. So it's an easy way to kind of split that out. And then I can come over here and make a row above it. And I can say frequency. I can say country. I can say city, station, hour, location, notes, or whatever you want to call it, right? Whatever kind of headers you want to put on each of these so you know what you're looking at. And then now, once I build this list up and I put all my little country, all my different countries on here, all my different stations on, it's much easier for me to go up here and sort because I can go to the filter and now I can filter down. I just want to look at the ones that are like 50K or more. Okay, well, there's my 50K. So 760, that's what I'm going to start with. I want to start there and then work my way down the list, right? So you can do that. You can go over here and you can filter by country. So let's say I've got multiple countries on my list. I've put in like Bolivia, I put in Chile, I put in a couple others. I just want to sort by the country. So I could do that, right? So an easy way to go through and create this list, just go to Medium Wave List, download those PDFs, go through the list. That's the hardest part, is kind of looking through the list and identifying, okay, these are the stations that I want, and then pasting those into your spreadsheet and then doing a little cleanup. And then once you do that, you see it's super easy to go through and sort and filter and do what you need to do. So that's how I make my target list for AMDXing, looking at certain countries that I'm looking to target for me that makes sense because of the frequency and the power and all those different things that might be there. So there you go. So now I expect all of you to take this information that we've given you and be able to use that to create your own target list. So you can add new countries or more stations from different countries into your logbooks. And I want to see those shout outs coming in for our live streams on Friday nights of new countries and new stations logged all over the place using these target lists. Hopefully this information has been helpful for you. We'd really appreciate it if you give us a thumbs up on the video and leave a comment. Doing so is a big help for the channel. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon, and you'll be notified when new videos are available. For all of us here at DX Central, my friends, thank you so much for watching 73 Best of DX. Now let's go hit the bands.
Keep up with DX Central. Follow us on Twitter at DX Central.